Hello everyone, my name is John Bussard. I'm an HPE Solution Center engineer for Ingram Micro. I help support servers, blade systems, storage, as well as networking technology solutions from HPE. In my videos, what I like to do is show you a popular slide from a popular PowerPoint and then present to you what that means within a management interface. Today, we're going to look at HPE's StoreOnce integration in with Veeam's backup and replication software. So certainly there's a variety of ways we could integrate these two technologies. A popular way is to create a file share on the StoreOnce appliance, something like a CIFS or an NFS share, and then use that as a repository for Veeam's backup capabilities. A more efficient way to be able to do it, though, is to use the Catalyst integration. So what is Catalyst? Catalyst allows us to be able to dedupe and compress our data, our backup jobs, once, and then move it around our network or our environment in a deduplicated and compressed format. So the example I like to usually give is, say we had two StoreOnce appliances, one at a main site and one at a remote site. So one local, one remote. And I want to do a copy job, or I wanted to copy my backup jobs from one StoreOnce appliance to a secondary site in case something happens catastrophically at the main site. So if I was using a VTL, I was using a CIFS or NFS, a normal file share, to replicate that data, what would happen is as the information traversed the WAN or left the StoreOnce box, it would get rehydrated or re-expanded back out. It would lose its compressed and deduplicated format and then go across the WAN to the secondary site where the secondary StoreOnce would go to work at that and then re-dedupe and recompress that back on down. But it traversed the WAN in a fully hydrated fashion. And this is a common problem with a lot of deduplicated disk-based backup systems that are out there. So to be able to solve that, HPE created Catalyst and allowed third-party software vendors to be able to integrate in with that. So the nice thing about that, again, is as Veeam performs a backup job, it can move that data around, again, in that deduplicated format. So again, if I was using Catalyst and I had two StoreOnce boxes, and I created a replication strategy, as it traversed the WAN, it would traverse it in a deduplicated and compressed format. Another nice thing about it is I can use a normal Veeam backup job to be able to create that copy. So a normal Veeam copy job to be able to replicate that data from one StoreOnce appliance to another. If I use CIFS or NFS with StoreOnce, it's an easy interface, but I would have to create a relationship between the two StoreOnce appliances. Using Catalyst just allows me to be able to work with my backup environment, look at my backup jobs within one interface. So certainly Veeam can integrate in with a variety of HPE storage technologies. Another way to be able to integrate Veeam is in with primary storage, so something like a Nimble or a 3-power StoreServe solution. Today I'm going to show you this integration in with Nimble. Basically, what happens is if you provide a complete solution using Catalyst StoreOnce and HPE's primary storage, there's efficiencies that are created as far as the backup process is concerned. So if I create or launch a Veeam backup within the environment, Veeam will reach in and go into the virtualized environment, so VMware, and take a virtual machine snapshot, a virtualized snapshot of that application in the environment. Then it'll map out some primary storage disk regions and then instruct the storage solution to be able to take a snapshot of that volume in that environment. Right. Once that snapshot is created, Veeam will instruct the VMware environment to release the virtualized snapshot. So that's an efficiency right there. So we want to get rid of those VMware snapshots as quickly as possible. And then Veeam will use the primary storage snapshot to provide a backup of that virtual machine in a Catalyst format over the StoreOnce appliance. Right? So the entire virtualized environment is kind of moved out of the way as far as the backup process is concerned. So again, I plan to show you this entire process using StoreOnce Catalyst as well as Nimble primary storage integration. So with that being said, let's explore this management interface. The first thing I want to do is explain to you how my backup of infrastructure is created, or how my virtualized infrastructure is created. So certainly I have logged into the vSphere web client, and I've got a couple of ESX servers running here, a couple of VMware servers, and a variety of virtual machines. We're going to be mainly interested in this Back Me Up 4 virtual machine right here, and I've already got it selected. If I scroll down a little bit, you'll see that this virtual machine exists on this Nimble storage here. Right now I'm in the data center and clusters view. If I select this Nimble storage, it'll bring me on over to the data center view, where we can see that my Nimble storage is selected and I've got one virtual machine running on it. Obviously your environment will have a variety of virtual machines, but I'm just trying to make a simple demonstration for everyone out there. All right. So let's take a look at this storage back on the Nimble storage system itself. All right, so here's my Nimble interface. I select Manage and then Data Storage. These are all the volumes that exist within my Nimble environment, and this is that volume I have presented to that VMware environment. So let's select that volume. You get a nice informational context or a summary context. I'm mainly interested for our demonstration into the Data Protection tab here. So these are all the snapshots that already exist in this environment. So Nimble is big on data protection plans, and basically what those are is that it's a snapshot schedule. You can see that this snapshot fires off at about 2 o'clock every day. All right, so that's my VMware environment. Again, we're interested in this virtual machine. So now let's take a look at the backup infrastructure. So first, I'll bring up Veeam's backup and replication. You can see I've been dropped off at a backup context, so you can see the variety of backup jobs that I've created. You can see I have storage snapshots as well as disk-based backups going here as well. We can go down to virtual machine. We can see my virtualized environment is integrated. So that was that vCenter's environment. You can see these are all those virtual machines. And again, there's that back me up for virtual machine that we're interested in. If I go one more step down, you'll see that I have storage integration. I'll close this up quickly. You can see that I've integrated both with HP 3-part StoreServe as well as Nimble. I'm going to expand that out. You can see that's the name of my Nimble storage system. I'll expand that out again. You can see I've got the Nimble storage listed right here. All right, if I close that up, you can see all 4 of those volumes exist. All right, so let's go back over here into Nimble, and then we'll look at data storage again. All right, so there are those 4 volumes. And again, those exist over here. And if I expand out this one Nimble volume, I can see all the snapshots that exist within my Nimble environment. And again, that would be if I select this Nimble volume, select data protection. These are those same snapshots. All right, so I'm certainly integrated. And I could do a instant virtual machine recovery from one of these snapshots if I felt like it. And I'd actually do a recovery from the snapshot itself. I have some videos on that you can go back and take a look at. So let's go back up to backup and replication. And here again are those storage snapshots, and there's my virtual machine if I wanted to. But for this demonstration, we're more interested in the disk-based backups. You can see I have a variety of backups that are rolling off to a variety of repositories, and some of those are Catalyst repositories. So let's take a look at that. So let's look at backup infrastructure, backup repositories. You can see I have a variety of backup repositories, but on the bottom here, I have a couple of StoreOnce 3540 Catalyst repositories. Right? And if I go inside the StoreOnce appliance, let's log back in. I could expand out my StoreOnce system. You can see I have virtual tape libraries, NAS, as well as StoreOnce Catalyst. So I'm going to expand that out. We'll see I've got stores listed here, and you can see those 2 Catalyst stores that exist. And again, that relates directly to these 2 guys down here. Now I'm not going to use those to be able to perform a backup. I'm actually going to show you how to quickly create a Catalyst store and integrate it in with your Veeam environment. It's pretty simple. Let's go over here. I'm going to click Create, and then we'll call this Ingram Micro. And then we'll click Create down here. And that's really all there is to be able to create a Catalyst data store. It's not too crazy. It's very simple and easy. At this point, we can see that my Catalyst data store is online. All right, so now let's integrate this in with Veeam. Go down here. right click on repositories, click and add a backup repository, give it a name. Call it Ingram Micro Backup Space. I'll click Next. Now, if I was doing CIFS or NFS off my StoreOnce box, I would select the shared folder. So again, I go into StoreOnce and I selected the NAS and created one of these shares. That's how I'd integrate. But since I'm integrating in with Catalyst and it's a Catalyst store, I'm going to select down here Deduplicated Storage Appliance. Click Next. Select HPE StoreOnce, click Next again. Next I need to put the DNS name or the IP address of my storage system, my StoreOnce system. So if I go up here, that'll be what I logged in with here. And tape and copy that into our environment. Right. Now you gotta add some credentials if you don't already have them added into your environment. Mine are already added in. So I'm going to select the credentials to be able to log into that environment. Select Next. Right, next I'm going to select the Catalyst store. You see that I have 3 of them here, which are directly related to the 3 that I see here, again under Catalyst stores. I'm going to select the newly created store. I'm going to click Next. And it's going to ask me if I want to use Power NFS. So Power NFS is the ability to do instant virtual machine recoveries from the backup jobs I create on the store. So basically the Veeam server presents itself to your VMware environment as an NFS share, so you can publish virtual machines from their backup job. I'm going to click Next. All right, now I'm finished. I'm going to click Apply. I'm going to see it roll through and add this into the environment. All right, so my repository is successfully added. So let's go back now and create a backup job. Go up to Backups, right-click, Backup. I'm going to do a VMware backup. And again, we'll give it a name, Ingram Micro Backup Job. Oops. And then I'm going to click Next. I'm going to add my virtual machine into this environment. Again, it's just going to be that one, back me up 4. I'm going to click Next. And then I'm going to select my backup repository. So for this backup job, I'm going to select my new repository that I just created. Now there are a variety of advanced options that we can go in and set. I'm not super smart on any of these settings, to be honest with you. All right. So I wish something would help me. So I'm going to click Next, and lo and behold, change advanced settings to recommending for your repository type. So it knows it's a StoreOnce box. So I'm going to click Yes. Certainly, Veeam's backup and replication is a powerful product, so I could certainly enable application-aware processing as well as guest file indexing. So I could do recovering from database or email as well as file server incremental recoveries. I'm not going to set that up for this backup job. Click Next, and then I can select to run the job automatically at a pre-designated time if I wanted to. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to click Apply, and then I'm going to run the backup job when I finish. So I'm going to click Finish, and then I'm going to watch this go through its process. You can see it's already started up. So let's open this guy up. Right now it's getting a virtual machine list. It's found my one, back me up 4. It's found the required backup infrastructure. Now it's created a storage snapshot. Right. It's waiting for the backup resources. So if I go back and look inside my virtual environment, you'll see down here that it's done a few things inside the VMware environment. So first, it's created a virtual machine snapshot. It's mapped some disk regions. And then when it was done, it released the snapshot. And it only released that after it took a primary storage snapshot. So I go back inside my Nimble interface and do a refresh. you'll see now I have this newly created Veeam nimble.vcenter.hpdemo.sc snapshot. And currently Veeam is going to use that snapshot to be able to perform its backup to the StoreOnce appliance. So if I go back over here and look at my backup jobs, I'm going to wait for this to kind of kick off, and we'll see some data kind of scroll across here, or some progress gets scrolled across here. A good way to kind of look at the backup jobs, because I'm going to take out a little bit of white space out of this, is to look at the time below down here, and this will give you a good idea. But we can see my backup job is rolling on through. All right. If I go and look at my StoreOnce appliance, again, we'll select my data store, we'll look at data jobs, and we'll show jobs. See a variety of things were created as far as the setup, but right now we can see this one job running right here. So data is flowing to the StoreOnce appliance. Again, we're using the Catalyst format. Okay, we could see now that it's deleting the primary storage backup because it's finished doing its backup job. And when once it's completed, then we get a message that the job is actually done. So I'll click OK on this, and then we'll go back, and then we can refresh here. So we'll look at data jobs. I'll show jobs. You can see that all the jobs have completed. I can also look inside my Nimble environment. Again, that was that one snap that it used to be able to perform its backup. If we do a refresh, we can see that that snapshot has disappeared. All right, so it's an efficient way to be able to provide backups within an environment. So what does a restore look like within this infrastructure? Right, well, let's go back inside our environment. This was the virtual machine that we just backed up. Let's right click and let's power this guy off. And again, let's do something catastrophic. Let's actually delete this virtual machine. Delete it from the disk. I'll select yes. There it is. Back me up 4 is now gone, and now I need to recover it for some reason. So I'll go back. So I could certainly use the storage snapshots to be able to recover that virtual machine if I wanted to. I have other videos on that, so certainly look into those. But this time I'm going to do a recovery of this virtual machine using the StoreOnce appliance as its repository. So if I expand out this backup job, you can see this back me up 4. I can right click, do an instant virtual machine recovery. All right, there's my backup job. We'll click next. Will it restore it to its original location? I don't have a restore reason. We just did this because we wanted to. And then we will connect this to the network. And we'll also power on this machine. And that's just giving me a warning to make sure I deleted the old machine because you don't want a Mac conflict in the environment. So I'm going to click restore. And I can certainly click finish. It's going to give me a little note about it still running. Right, and we can go down here. And I can open this up. You can see right now it's already at the promise of actually publishing this virtual machine. So if I look inside the VMware environment, we'll look under data stores and clusters, and then we're going to switch that to data stores itself. I've got this Veeam backup volume that exists right here. All right, this is the NFS share coming from my Veeam environment. You can see it's already published the virtual machine. It's actually already powered it on. I go over to the data center clusters view. I could select this virtual machine, scroll up, and we can see that it's already been powered on. I'll open it up. There we go. This is a functioning virtual machine that I can actually log into. Now keep in mind that this virtual machine is currently running from off of an NFS share that's created on the Veeam system. And that NFS share is mainly used to actually grab the backup job, the files that created that virtual machine for the backup job, and publish that virtual machine in the environment. So my performance in this case is going to be as high performance as the weakest link in the chain. All right, so I actually want to migrate this into production. All right, so I want to move it off this environment. If I look inside the Veeam environment, you can see it's waiting for user to start the migration. So I'm going to click close. I can see I've got a context for instant virtual machine recovery up here. Right click, and I'm going to migrate this into production. I'm going to click next and where it wants me to place it. Automatically select the transfer method. And in this case, it's just going to use a normal storage vMotion transfer. And then I'm going to click finish. You can see it's going to start its migration. Okay. If I go inside my VMware environment, in a little bit, we will see that migration begin. Let's see if I do a refresh on this, if this guy shows up yet. There we go. Now we can see the relocate of the virtual machine happen. This machine's about a 100 gig virtual machine, so it's going to take a little bit of time. But keep in mind, this virtual machine is up and running, so if I select this, you can actually see this machine is available and I can interact with this machine while this migration is happening. We're at 35%. Closely mimics what we're seeing over here. Okay, now we can see that our virtual machine has been relocated. And if I scroll down a little bit, we'll see it's now on the Nimble storage. And if I look inside my Veeam environment, you can see the backup job is now finished. And we're back to normal where we initially started. I hope you found this video informative, and please stay tuned for more videos.